Start recording. Okay, we should be good. Yo, what's up? How many people here are here for the last lecture with Brett? Just at least one or two me's. To see how many people here. Cracker, you weren't there. You were busy. It was insane. I wish we had it recorded. It was great. We went over everything in-store related. And so today we're gonna go over brick flipping, how to do it, how people make thousands to, non-exaggeration, millions brick flipping, which is just unreal. And Fanny, I hope he can pull up. He was trying to make it work. He told me he would, then was like, crap, I might have stuff. So we'll see. Fanny's done millions. I don't want to speak for him. He's done millions brick flipping, though. And he's also a brick flipping provider. I've been on his ass about posting some more brick links. What's up, Des? Which has been absurd, but just a quick show and tell who's here. Who here has brick flipped before, and who here has never brick flipped? Get a me if you know, if Chungus. I know Chungus knows how to get a no if you haven't, and again, no shame for the no's. It's honestly ideal if it's a no because it's something that you're going to be able to add. 50-50. Cracker, the fact that you've had as much success as you've had without knowing how to brick flip is insane. So maybe I could share the screen here. That would be sick. All right, well, actually, I think this will work. I'll share a screen. This is from... Can you guys see this? There's not going to be much going on. This honestly isn't even mine. This is Fanny's he sent me to go over with you guys. So I guess I'll mix in some of it with my preset notes, and this should be zoomed in enough for you guys, ideally. All right, so what is brick flipping? And so the whole concept is like, today there's no hype drops anymore. That's obviously an exaggeration and not true. But for drops like this Black Cat 3, I mean, things like Black Cat 4s last year kind of defied this. I think upcoming things like the Breads and Space Jams, all of that, of course, will be profitable. But the theory is that there's no more hype drops. And even when there were hype drops, I made the most money brick flipping. A brick is something that doesn't sell for more than retail, or doesn't sell for much more than retail. If there's a shoe that retails for $200 and it is reselling for $180, that's a brick. Why would you touch that? But the beauty in it is that you can find an item that retails for $200 for $100. It's on sale. That's how they get people to buy it. And so if you can buy it for $100 and it sells for $180, you net, assuming no fees, they're $80 each pair. You buy 10 of those, that's $800. Let's assume fees, $500 right there. And the cool thing with brick flipping is if you go to hit on a shoe on the sneakers app or whatever kind of hype raffle, you hit one pair. If you have 5 phones, I know people here who have 5 different phones for sneakers and stuff like that. I text all my boys for certain drops. You could still only hit max 1 per account. But for a brick, you can get hundreds of items. I mean, I guess technically an example of a brick would be a recent cash out for Keurigs that Chungus did. Like that is an item that is selling less than retail, and they didn't only sell it less than retail, they sold it at like a 20th of retail. That might be an exaggeration, but they were selling those for $30 that we kind of swooped up. And so yeah, that's okay. Sneaker market much bigger than Jordan, Yeezys. If you look at all that stuff, yeah, all great. So I want to talk about in brick flipping. I have a framework called the 3 S's, which is just sourcing, selling, and scaling, and that's in all things. But the hardest part of brick flipping is sourcing. You know how to buy. If you buy the right item, all you have to do from there is sell. And if you do those a bunch, that's how you scale. And so what we do. We have providers that post brick links that do sourcing for you. But if you want to make the most money, the trick is that you have to learn to do it yourself. And the reason is when we post a link here, it's immediately undercut. And that's fine. That's okay. But if there's a shoe, there's 100 in stock and everybody's going to go sell it, like it's going to, for a short period of time, drop in resale price. Okay, all of you, do not undercut that much. Undercut by $1. Don't be the guy that has a shoe selling for $200. Teach a man to fish. Yes, and again, like I mean, I want to just give you fish. That's kind of the goal and how we approach the product here. But at the end of the day, it's just a math equation. If every single one of you goes for the same shoe, and you all sell it on the same place, I should add in, the market's gonna take a little dip. And so, what happens to people who are new to brick flipping is they see a link, they see the last sold price, they're like, oh great, I'd make $20 per. Bought 10 of it, and then when the shoes arrive, the market completely tanked. And I want to emphasize, it tanks temporarily. It only tanks because everybody bought it and everybody's selling. In a few months, it's back up, and you're going to look back and be like, damn, why did I return it? Or damn, why did I sell at a loss? Yeah, that's you, Carl. We know it's you, Carl. But and you can tell when a shoe is going to do that. When you go to buy a shoe that has, let's say, 5 sales a week, and then there's 100 in stock that everybody bought to resell. I mean, just do the math. It's going to be undercut. But for some stuff that sells 50 times a day, it's probably not going to be undercut very much. And so that's kind of the equation. And so on the sourcing side, if you know how to source, Fanny, he doesn't have anybody send him links. In fact, I pay him to post links to you guys. And I wonder how many links he gatekeeps. All BrickLink providers gatekeep a certain amount of links. And then I guess that segues into like how some of them actually don't. So there are the best way that BrickLink providers, we pay them, of course, but the way that they actually plan on making money is that they get an affiliate kickback when you guys buy. And so they'll justify you guys, your annoying ass undercutters, by the fact that they get a commission from everything sold. But here's a little secret that none of them want me to tell you. And in fact, probably just don't tell people. And I just posted in the channel here, Rakuten. Who here knows what Rakuten is? Who here has a Rakuten account, and who here doesn't? If you right now sign up for Rakuten, and I feel bad for the old people, forgot to use it, Cracker, I have made probably over 20 grand with Rakuten, reselling through the last, 5 years, but that's still a lot of money. And top cashback. Yes, exactly. So the theory and what Rakuten does right now, if you sign up on Rakuten and you spend $50, they give you $50 for free. And so this is like the intro, welcome to brick flipping, welcome to reselling. And this isn't just brick flipping. You should probably use a cashback extension, in my opinion, on everything. It's free money. So poor man give. So anyways, with Rakuten, if you go to buy something and it says Mavly, guys, that means they are getting paid a commission. But if you use your Rakuten link, it takes away their commission. It gives you the commission, essentially. So brands, they have a set amount of money they're willing to pay providers and stuff to get referrals to sign up and buy their shit. And so instead of, their expectation is that there's a BrickLink provider posting it, they'll pay the BrickLink provider set amount of money. If you use a Rakuten link or top cashback link, you take the commission they would get and you get it for yourself. Guys, I joined. Calls recorded. That way I watch the part I lost. Yep. Hopefully it records well. I have it recording. There's always a problem, though. Let's hope that isn't the case. So as far as Rakuten, do you guys understand? And they also sponsor the Warriors. Like, they're a massive company. They're probably worth a few billion. Does it make sense what Rakuten does? And so just a quick kind of breakdown on how brick flipping becomes profitable. Let's say Nike's dropping Air Maxes that are $200. They are discounting it at $100. And on top of that, there's a 15% cashback bonus. Okay, so all of a sudden you're getting the shoe for technically $85 and the shoe sells for $150. Buy as many of those as you can. How do you make sure the cookies? Yeah, so you might have to clear cache. You might have to create a new Chrome browser for it, all that stuff. They were goated during December, 20% on JD. Top cashback or Rakuten, Turtle? Rakuten, that's nuts. And they pay out quarterly, which kind of sucks, but it's kind of cool because you get a check for like $3,000 out of nowhere in the mail that you forgot about just by buying and reselling. So again, you guys get a free $50 if you sign up and you spend $50. It usually is 30. I couldn't believe it was 50 when I just posted it. Which is nuts. So as far as sourcing, actually, before we go deeper, I think there's a channel here. where he talks about, yeah, the game is under retail. You want to get stuff way under retail. Oh, some interesting stuff about sourcing. So when retailers have a surplus of inventory, they go on sale. All right, that's how you're able to get bulk supplies. Most retailers offer discounts. You can email sign up. If you ever see Coolman, he's the most goated Bricklink provider. I've never actually ran into one better than him because he relies off your guys' affiliate commission. That's why he posts these links. His links are so good, and you can, and I don't want to make a financial claim, but you can make damn near $1,000 just off his links, and we'll get into how to make it even easier. Yeah, and then you can move them to stock, and we'll get into how to sell. That's the second part. So a cool sourcing trick that Fanny does is every month he updates trending SKU sheet. And so he goes on to StockX sneaker page and filters by most sales, and takes shoes on there, and you just look it up, and you can find them on retailers. And then from there, this is called reverse sourcing. Okay, he goes from StockX and is like, wait, how can I find this shoe? And then you find a random boutique that has them for discount, and you buy them. That's how Bricklink providers, and then they create lists of all these boutique stores, and then they get emails about discounts that they're running, little campaign promos, and then they use cashback, and that's how they source and find the stuff. They're not all the time just randomly guessing and like getting lucky off this and finding it on Twitter. No, that's how they do it. Make your own sheet. So yeah, he makes a sheet of links of retailers, and he makes sheets of specific shoes. Yeah, and this is a screen recording from him. This is a single shoe, and I want to emphasize, you guys can go, and it's like in store, like complete blanks for a while, and all of a sudden you found a SKU that you bought 200 pairs of. For this one, you bought 123 pairs of them. You don't really have to worry about getting banned for bricks a lot of times because they're not hype. They don't care. So that's deep into sourcing. Does sourcing so far make sense? And I can answer questions at the end, but so far, can I get at least okay, I understand the concept of sourcing, and I want to emphasize as well, this whole principle, guys, isn't just applied to reselling; it's applied to everything. This is how all businesses work, between fancy funds, between like the idea of being able to source deals. We're applying it to reselling, and specifically sneakers and apparel. But like that whole skill is almost everything. Say that one more time. They call it reverse sourcing. So you go online, go on Go, go on StockX, find stuff, and then you look it up and you try to find where people are getting them. Right? You're like, damn, how is everybody selling this for profit? Like, they have to be getting it cheaper somehow, and they from there kind of go down and find. It's kind of like an angry girlfriend who can like always find anybody on Instagram, and they go through someone's following, go through likes, and then goes through following, and like that's kind of reverse sourcing. It's a relevant analogy. I mean, people get the premise of it, but now we're the angry girlfriend. It's I feel great about that as well. Thank you. So again, I think sourcing is the most important part of brick flipping, but I think the most underrated and the most slept on and misunderstood parts, and parts where people get lazy, is actually selling. So how do you sell? The crazy thing is, like, selling is a skill. Like, every reseller defaults to the basics, and as because of that, you're competing against the masses. And so the goal is to like really get creative and figure out how to sell well. And so the easiest options is StockX, Goat, eBay, Marketplace. StockX, Goat, the easiest, laziest. As a result, the least profit. eBay, Marketplace being up next for easiest. I don't want to put eBay. eBay is fantastic. Everybody should build an eBay. It's an absolute machine. But besides that, now imagine the shoe you went for where everybody's undercutting. Everybody's undercutting on StockX, and the people you're competing against are dumbasses. They're not listing all over. And so this is when we call it cross-listing. You really need to list, especially starting off, on everything. Poshmark, I personally hate Poshmark. They take, like, at least when I sold on them, 20% fees, and their app is ugly as hell. But I think you should sell on Poshmark, especially if you haven't yet. There's I almost said Poly Market. God help me. There's Depop. There's Grailed. I guess Grailed I think sold to Goat recently. There's OfferUp. There's can people spit out more? We have a sheet of all of them. So when I first started brick flipping, Grailed's dead. I think Grailed merged into Mercari. Mercari is goated. Mercari is so slept on. Yeah, so I would list on all platforms. And so not only is there lazy listing, motherfuckers list on just one Goat or StockX instead of both. And it's like, why would you do that? That seems really odd. Depop's odd, man. So anyways, back to the point, like a brick comes out, it gets undercut. Not only do you mitigate undercutting by listing everywhere, but every app has its own sales volume. And so if you list everywhere, you multiply the chances, the speed that your item will sell, which increases your profit. You probably can sell for more as well, which increases your cash on cash like return, the speed on that, which then you can just redeploy into another shoe. So that's where KNet comes in clutch. KNet didn't exist when I was brought up in the reselling world. Absolute hack. We all thought about a KNet idea. No one was able to pull it off besides my boy DP. Shout out Dejan. So here's KNet. Partners. This should pull it up. So for people, and you have to have some sales, or at least, I don't know, finesse on your call. You got to take a call with them and make sure you put down that you're in our group. I was talking to the founder of this, and like he really does prioritize our members. And they're really not in a hurry for people. So KNet is a hack for people who are busy and who live in sales tax states. You got your account booted on KNet Cracker? What's the minimum capital needed? I don't think they care about capital. They care about sales volume. Just say you do like, I don't know, you can get to 3,000 to 5,000 a month really easy in sales. That's like a few bricklinks you buy a decent amount of. That's it. Inactive. They actually deactivated it though. Just say 1.5K monthly. Yeah, just say they really want to know that you have a future in this. And so they don't actually care where you're at now. They care what you're going to do on their platform. So just like leave them to think there's going to be, what if you lie? I will stop there. You do whatever you want to do. It's up to them to approve you. But KNet, so you ship to them. They have their own warehouses that are sales tax free. Sales tax really eats into brick flipping profits. So if you're buying a $200 shoe, you're in California, you're paying temper, dude, that's $20 each shoe, which is nuts. There goes your margins right there. So sales tax free, they warehouse your items. So people who don't want to touch their stuff, they'll keep it. And then they also fulfill it. Fulfilling it, I enjoy shipping until you don't. It's really fun at first and then sometimes when they're like UPS is closing and it's like, damn, this kind of sucks. I don't know. I enjoy it for the most part. For people who really hate shipping, they ship for you, and then they have cheaper fees on all platforms. Platforms like Goat, you literally can't get below the minimum fee amount, and so you can through them they have 8.5% fee. Or at least they did last time I checked. I've never seen anybody get under that. It's incredible, and they have like 5 different sales channels, and when you're selling with them, they cross list everywhere. And one of the problems with cross listing is you might sell your shoe twice and you got to cancel on some platform. It's going to happen. It sucks. It's annoying. Try not to do it as much as you can. But with KNet, when it's sold, it automatically delists from the other platforms, which is great. So if you are looking to scale, I would go ahead and really look at KNet. It's a hack. Zamed here, I shouldn't have told him I was recording this. He just signed up on it today. I know Chungus, how much do you do with KNet? How do you like it? And again, like guys, I'm not endorsing. I mean, I technically am endorsing them. I do not care if you use them or not. What are the downsides of KNet? Yeah, you freaking love it. So there are downsides of KNet in my opinion. One of them is having sales volume on accounts you own. I view your accounts as like real estate. You're building this thing. You have years of you only hear pros never con. Yeah, but you have like, so for me, my StockX account, guys, I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands in volume on my StockX account. And because of that, StockX literally reached out to me personally. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Actually, they approved me to sell direct to sellers where they send me StockX tags, and I don't even need to go to authentication centers. That's a cool perk. they did a complete background check on me. It was looking at a sketch. Complete background check on me, all that stuff. And so I have a theory. KNet has that access as well. I bet they do if I do. So, that's something that's cool. Getting to level 5 on StockX is fun and stuff like that. But if you do volume with KNet, your fees are negotiable, by the way. You can say, hey, like I would be at this fee on StockX if I sold through myself. Get me there, yada yada. Chose is why everything's fake on StockX. For anyone who thinks that would be a method, bro, there's so much liability there if you're shipping direct. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Surge is just selling on Flex. Maybe that's a theory Chungus has. It's the same volume. It could be. I don't know. So that's the whole KNet stuff. Does that all make sense? And we'll get to Q&A in a minute. And then we can also go deeper on certain topics. Your sales line up. That's funny. Turtle, does KNet make sense? Are you on KNet? What's their commission? They take, so that's another, I guess, bad thing. They take a $5 fulfillment fee. So for shipping, a warehouse, all that stuff, $5. And then, yeah, that's it. Besides that, they negotiate better deals with StockX, like better rates. And so if they can get 5%, they charge you 7%. They arbitrage. And again, guys, do you see how like that concept right there is reselling? They're reselling fees basically. They're getting a 5% fee. They're giving you 7. 7's less than 9, which is what you would pay. I don't know if that's our actual rate. And then they arbitrage the 2% difference, which is cool. So I know they make money that way. And then, yeah, I think that's the 2 ways they make money. So, yeah, smart for their business as well. So besides that, yeah, I guess past that, like the only thing else to do is to really scale. And the people who make the most money reselling are brick flippers and brick flippers who figured out how to scale. And so you end up building, people have, you hear backdoors where they have relationships with actual boutiques who just sell everything, not actually to the public, to you. Stuff like that is how you really start to scale. Be careful. Brett just gets texted when people get orders. You can also scale. People have that kind of access that you can buy from. I know Fanny does a lot of Fanny has access to so much stuff direct from retailers. But his prices I don't think are the most profitable for StockX usually. So but that's a way to get a lot of stuff. But that's kind of like brick flipping 101. I hope that made sense. Just to recap real quick, and then we can do a Q&A and get out of here. In reselling, brick flipping specifically, there's 3 S's. There's sourcing, there's selling, there's scaling. You scale by doing the first 2 really well for the most part. Sourcing is the hardest part of reselling. It's where the skill comes into. I guess skills on selling as well, but it's where the initial skill is. We source for you in the brick flipping channel. And I want to clarify, guys, it's Bricklinks. This is Bricklinks. Also throughout the entire channel, there's just sneaker drops that aren't bricks technically, but they're hype. I wonder how much you can make a year, but I would wager thousands just from random sneakers drops, to be honest. And we have a great lineup ahead of us. And so you can do the random hype stuff on top of in-store, on top of Bricklinks. And all of in-store reselling is pretty much brick flipping. Off-White one. Yeah. Bricks take patience. Yeah, and so I want to add something to that as well. Don't be afraid to lose money or break even. And with Rakuten as well, you might just be breaking even, but you got this big check coming in every quarter. That's pretty fantastic. So if you buy something that's posted, you don't know it's your first brick. Worst case, you usually just can return it. So it's not that big of a deal. It's really fun. Your apartment too small to hold on to inventory. Yeah, lock in with KNet then. I can get them to reinstate your account, Cracker. Flex. I flex a lot of stuff. KNet. You basically just flex through KNet as well. So sourcing, reverse sourcing is really powerful. If you see all these shoes flying, you see all these shoes on StockX. Okay, this shoe's selling all the time. That means someone's getting these for cheaper than they're selling it for. How? Okay, you go ahead and you Google it. You find all these retailers who are selling it. You find one retailer who has a sign-up promo code. If you sign up, you get 20% off. You make 20 different accounts. And that's how you do it, basically. Use Rakuten. Rakuten gets you up to 20% off on everything. You just get it in cash back. Oh, and on top of that, use a credit card. Let's call it 3%, like 23% off plus 20% off sign up bonus. Like you're at 40% off already, assuming that the shoe's not already discounted. And the shoe's already half off because it's a brick. And it's like, bro, you're getting the shoe for pennies on the dollar. So that's the theory on sourcing, selling. Make sure to cross list. Don't list on just one platform. Expect undercutting for links that you don't source yourself. Taking good photos, I want to add, and having good captions is really important, especially on eBay. And a story I shared last week, but I was cleaning out my basement, and there was this desk that I needed to get rid of. And on Facebook Marketplace, there was the same desk listed for sale on a shitty photo. It looked like a potato, for free. And it wasn't moving. I just took 2 minutes, made it look kind of nice. I don't wipe the dust off. And then it sold for $70 within 10 minutes. 10 minutes, there's like four messages. Same exact item. One was for free, one was $70. And I sold mine faster because of a good photo and a good listing. So on the listing side, if you're on eBay, like emphasize quick shipping, get good reviews. If you're buying, put yourself in the perspective of a buyer. If you're buying this item, what are you looking for? Brand new, unopened, ships today or next morning. They have good reviews. Fantastic. That's the one I want to buy from. Versus some listing where you're like, this might be some Chinese scammer. Like on the bear cups, there's so many fake bear cups on eBay, and I could sniff it out immediately. Imagine these fake bear cup sellers actually just made good listings. Probably would have scammed a lot more money. AI generic descriptions are terrible. Yeah, maybe use it for inspiration, but you can sniff it out really quick. And then, maximize profit. For selling as well, you can consign. If you don't use KNet, you can just consign with StockX or Goat. This forces you to stick to one app. But for a lot of people like me, I really like consigning because I like to get it out of here. I like to list it, and I like to think about it. I'm really, really busy building this group, and a lot of people are busy with school, all that stuff. So that's great. Besides that, are there any questions I can answer? Let's call it, 5 to 10. How can you do the Insta ship on StockX consign? So it ships to me, and then I ship it to StockX. StockX Flex. I just create a label, put everything I'm shipping out, and that's how it's done. Yep. All right. I know there's probably some questions from you guys. If not, maybe we can just call it. But brick flipping's fun, dude. Reselling's exciting. Is reselling hot right now? If you look on social media, they'll have you convinced reselling's been dead for the last 5 years. But somehow there's people making hundreds of thousands to millions reselling. So someone's got to be lying, right? Reselling, as people used to know it, is definitely not in style. Brick flipping and reselling in general. When we started reselling secrets, guys, we were strictly Nike backend brick flipping. Now, like the range of clearance stuff, concert tickets on top of that. Even stuff like R for R, and then all this brick flipping, and then you click on the daily agenda and there's like just a random RC car. Really? That bro, it's so cool. So yes, every day in the daily agenda, I'd really focus on in the important sections. Yeah, where's the cheapest place for shipping materials? You can get them free for USPS. You have to, for the boxes, they don't usually fit shoes. You can cut it some way. We have a guide somewhere on it. If I'm in a rush, I just get my stuff from Home Depot. There's it's called, starts with a G, something for shipping boxes that I usually do big bulk orders for. Bro, you do bubble wrap. It's real fancy. If you're shipping to someone directly, not to authentication center, then to somebody, bubble wrap's a nice touch. Yeah, and that's all. And again, guys, next week's lectures with Chris Potter, which I'm so excited for. He's not just someone who has good tax advice. He is literally a CPA, which is a certified practicing accountant, something like that. You're certified. You have to go to school. You have to get validated, and he does it specifically in reselling. It's going to be incredible. Learning tax game is not actually as hard as you think, and it's really fun, and it sets you apart from your cohort of friends who aren't very smart. So shipping stuff though, Turtle or whoever asked for it, those are all write-offs, by the way. You get to write it off. All of that. This group's fee, all a write-off. And I think taxes, they're actually not that scary at all. Especially like the average reseller isn't your standard deduction rate. I'm not giving tax advice. I am not certified in any way. Consult with Chris Potter, but only for a credit card, right? No, it doesn't matter. Any expense, at least that's qualified expense, is a write-off. Yeah, and ideally that you consider and the IRS considers, but yeah. The Hello Kitty greeters, like what the hell? People resell Hello Kitty, what? Stuff like that is cracked. Just don't pay taxes. Yeah. Apps do report 1099s where the IRS will see if you don't file that there is a discrepancy in what they say you made and what you say you made, which could risk an audit. But like the truth is, the IRS isn't auditing small scale resellers. They're going after the guys who make 10 mil, but they still can. Any brick flipping guys, who here doesn't have Rakuten? Who's gonna go make a Rakuten account right after this? If you guys don't resell, you say, Cho, screw you, I don't want to do this, and you just use Rakuten for the rest of your life or cashback, I'm happy and proud. Been withholding every year. Do not post that here, please. Anthony, you got Rakuten? What items do you avoid or see getting downtrends? I avoid Stanley's, like usually at all costs. I don't know if that counts. Any cups, yeah, you just return them. Worst case. I mean, shit, what's it called? I made a story on it yesterday. The freaking Korean Japanese Funko Pop dudes, Labubu. I mean, those are gone. I mean, people say like reselling, but Labubu last year sold for like 4 times retail. It's a freaking Labubu. Disney pins and all that stuff. It depends. Usually for anything that's green in the group, I go for. If it's yellow, I look into it and decide for myself. But almost anything green, I go for. One Piece. I don't know how Labubu is so popular. Yeah, it's crazy. All right. Well, I don't know if you guys have any more questions about brick flipping. Let me know if you do. Otherwise, I'm going to go grub. Okay. Well, sounds good. Hope you guys all learned something. This is recorded, ideally. I'll upload it to YouTube, send it to you guys. But I wanna end off with just like one more emphasis that, guys, I went over one avenue of reselling today. There are like Cracker in here makes a bunch reselling. He doesn't even brick flip. Like there are so many ways. And if you brick flip and you don't like it, you're like, not my style, great. I personally love it. I make a lot of money from it. There's so many ways to resell, and reselling isn't just like, oh, money now, but it really truly is skills that go into so many avenues of life. And so for people who don't know what to do, they're like, I have all these business entrepreneurial aspirations. What should I do? Truly, genuinely, just start by reselling. It's a great starting point. You'll make money. You'll see it like in person, actual stuff in your hands that you're selling. You'll understand it. You'll have to go make deals with people. You'll have to keep inventory. You'll have to manage finances, maybe even file taxes. And next thing you know, there's an opportunity that you wouldn't have been ready for otherwise. So that's my route on reselling. I appreciate you all. Hope you guys all learned something. See ya.